Everybody thinks Monkey's D. Dragon is Luffy's father. Well, that is what Ichiro Oda wants you to believe. In reality, he has been setting up the greatest plot twist in all of manga history for over 25 years. You see, Glenn Quagmire is actually Luffy's real dad. Anyways, sit back and relax as I start aggressively yapping about some random nonsense that should land me in a mental asylum for about 12 years. Our story begins in the novelization of the 2005 absolute cinematic masterpiece, Madagascar, on page 5656, sandwiched between more 6-page monologue about the tenderness of King Julian's toe jam and a lasagna recipe. There's a very out-of-place interview between Dwayne D. Rock Johnson and one of Oda's former editors, Donald J. Trump. When Trump was asked about his former boss Oda's work, he says, and I quote, "Look, I can't say anything, but I would love to say everything. Believe me, I know things, but there are certain people watching, very powerful people, very sketchy people, maybe even with funny hats. It's a certain person, a future pirate king, if you will, a man whose name I definitely cannot say because a giant navy guy with a whole lot of ice, magma, or maybe light powers will show up at my wedding. I'm saying that the family tree has some very interesting branches, that's all. I'll tell you this. Oda's secret has nothing to do with treasures, pirates, or whatever people think. It's a clue, a very small clue, a clue people have been ignoring for years. A bottle, a very specific bottle. People laughed about it. They said, Donald, why are you talking about the mayonnaise? I said, you don't understand. The mayonnaise bottle knows. The bottles know. The bottles have always known. Don't ask me why. Ask Oda. Actually, don't ask Oda either. He knows what happens to people if they ask too many questions. Wow, that Trump impression was terrible. Anyways, as you can see in this interview, the secret to this mystery is found in a very specific brand of mayonnaise. For a while, many of the world's smartest theorists were stumped by the peculiar detail, but I cracked the code. At the bottom of these mayo bottles, in very fine print, there are the numbers 40.6892 and 74.0445. If we were to interpret these numbers as latitude and longitude coordinates, they would lead to a random, inconspicuous, unimportant landmark in the USA, aka the Statue of Liberty. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything of importance above ground at that location. So I did the first thing anybody sensible would do. I dug and dug hard the entire day. Back-breaking labor that would take an entire construction team an entire day to dig. I dug down a record-shattering 5 inches before I hit an ancient relic, a floppy disk. At first, I just thought someone dropped it here a few hundred years ago, well, aka 1980s, and brushed it off as something useless. But at that point, I was just too tired to continue digging, and I don't know, I just went home. When I inserted my floppy disk into my very ancient disk drive, oof, oh man, that was slow. It played the message. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep, 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 boop, 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 beep, boop. This message was unreadable via regular Morse code, but fortunately, it sounded just like a Vatican Morse code, created by the genius Dr. Vegapants. Once I translated the image, I discovered the truth. The translation read as German finger dash, you know, like that level from Geometry Dash. I didn't know what that meant at first, but it hit me like a truck. First line of the song Finger Bang by MDK goes, and if you translate that into German, it just says, like, a bunch of gibberish. But if you put that through about 179 different deciphering codes, it says clear as day that Quagmire is the real father of Luffy. Glenn D. Quagmire. It all makes sense now. Luffy looks nothing like the father of Monkey D. Dragon. The eyes, the face shape, the vibes, but Quagmire. The eyes, the face shape, the lives, it all makes sense. Plus, it wraps up with another unsolved theory from Open English Bible 4:13, and I quote, "Don't tell anybody this one dragon has a secret brother." Oh! And the thing is, this was a leaked conversation from the very creator of Family Guy himself, Seth MacFarlane, that somehow got into the Bible. Don't ask how all of them. And also, there's concept art that Quagmire is wearing an eye patch. And he says in the final season of One Piece, well, in the SBS, that there will be a pirate with an eye patch. So at least the big Q himself will probably be Paul Relevant at the end of the story. And, you know, like, Luffy's dad should be Paul Relevant. Dang, I really need a glass of water.